Globalization has devalued a lot of our products.
Burgers are not a sugary product.
The social cost of it is not counted. The public health cost of it is not counted.
They keep on putting pressure on the people that he had to commit suicide.
India is facing a health crisis. Mass-produced, unhealthy foods have slowly been saturating the food markets, especially in big cities, ever since India embraced neoliberal globalization in the 1990s. Fast food is big business in India, but as profits go up, so too do food-related illnesses like diabetes, which affects more than 70 million people in India. That's more than the entire population of France or the UK. Indian food is famous the world over. Fragrant curries, spices, pickles, handmade breads. But diets and food habits in India are changing. And this change means new investment opportunities for food multinationals, whose brands can be seen everywhere from traditional bazaars to air-conditioned malls in the suburbs. But not everyone welcomes the impact processed foods are having on India's food culture and public health. We're here in East Delhi at Padam Singh's food stall. He makes traditional Indian food. There's freshly baked naan, dal, mixed vegetables. Everything smells and looks amazing.
जी करीब 15-20 साल हो गए मुझे इस खाना बनाते हुए। देखिए नान बोलते हैं इसको, स्टफ नान होता है, आलू भरा हुआ। ये तंदूर में सिकता है जी। खाने के बाद आप खाओगे टेस्टी बेस्ट होता है। टेस्ट करेंगे आप?
So good. A short distance from Badam Singh's stall, we met Dharmendra Kumar, founder of NGO Janpahal, who advocates for street food vendors.
Like you see a lot of evictions in cities taking place against street vendors. So the idea is to make street vendors go out of their business and bring in superstores.
Are there cases where multinational corporations have been involved in trying to lobby for these evictions?
Yes. Superstores have been lobbying, not directly for evictions, but the idea is to make city friendly to middle class so that they can come, park their cars. Without street food vendors, working class cannot survive in cities.
हाँ, ये चीज़ हम कहना चाहेंगे आपको, जैसे बाहर की कंपनियां जैसे बर्गर वगैरह, चाउमीन वगैरह ये चीज़ लेके आए हैं जो हमारे भारत के अंदर है, उस चीज़ से हमारे धंधे पे बहुत फर्क पड़ा है। पहले हमारा अच्छा चलता था, अब उनकी वजह से हमारा धंधा थोड़ा डाउन हो गया, हमें दिक्कत है।
The Indian government is not only welcoming these companies, but actively courting them with flashy events and promotional videos.
Imagine if India reaches its optimum processing potential.
To reach this potential, multinationals are promised huge subsidies on setting up costs and zero tax on profits for 5 years.
It's tough for them. Now they have a new competitor, which is giant, which is so big and which is so powerful. But unfortunately, the government policy is supporting the processed food industry. But what we are not looking at is what is fresh, what is natural, what is seasonal, and what is local.
We spoke to campaigner and writer Radha Holla about the threat that this increase in processed food poses to the Indian diet.
This is a barracuda. The other is beans, green beans, which we just stir fry with tempering of a little lentils and mustard seeds and red chili, and sprinkle a little coconut on top.
What about the impact of globalization on the whole on Indian food production?
There is this great thrust of multinationals bringing in not just junk food, but also so-called healthy food at twice the cost, but with having half the nutrition. So many of our foods are disappearing. Our traditional breakfasts are increasingly being replaced by Kellogg's, Chocos, cornflakes, what about something like this?
Yeah.
You know, which has much more protein than a glass of milk would probably have. And it's usually eaten with a green chutney, which gives you some amount of vitamin A and some amount of iron.
So much cereal. I think one of these costs at least €6. Whereas the Cocoa Pug is about €10 actually. Heinz beans, Ocean Spray, hobnobs, €5 for a hobnobs. Got Tropicana, Maggie, Jamie Oliver, and oh my god, that's ridiculous. Made by Indian immigrants in England and then exported back to India. That's crazy.
So globalization has devalued a lot of our products, has brought in a whole lot of new products which are replacing our traditional foods. And where the rich are concerned, there's so much emphasis on creating status symbols which these people are supposed to meet. And that includes McDonald's, KFC, you know.
In its native US, McDonald's is marketed as an affordable option for eating out, rather than a status symbol. But here in India, it attracts a different crowd.
It's one of like a very pocket-friendly outlet where students like us can go, so we visit this quite often.
Mostly they hang out with the friends.
And do you find it affordable?
Yes, it is. It is affordable.
And we like chicken a lot, so chicken burger.
Do you think it's affordable?
Yes, it's affordable, cheap.
Not for everyone. Basically, in Indian culture, for the lower middle class family, it is not affordable. For the upper middle class family, it is affordable.
Do you think that it's had an effect on your health?
I don't know, maybe you can see.
For a month, like I stay alone. So I used to have McD and then pizza, burgers and all that. I never got sick or something like that. So it's good.
The Domino's, KFC, Burger King. Feels like I could be anywhere in the world right now. Seems like an affluent crowd as well. What will I order first? 6 hot and crispy chicken drumsticks. I'll have a pepperoni. Now on to Burger King. I'm a bit scared about how today's gonna end up. Can I please have 1 large French fries and a water? You don't have water? I really need water before this. Okay, so here I've got 6 pieces of KFC chicken drumsticks, Domino's pepperoni pizza, and Burger King fries. It all looks the same, but actually research has shown that fast food in India contains much more fat, sugar, and salt than the same fast food found in Europe. This box of KFC drumsticks have 4.5 times the saturated fat. Burger King fries have 7 times as much sugar. And it's the same story at McDonald's, where a chicken sandwich has more than twice the sugar. This pizza costs €10. It would take someone on minimum wage about 4 days to make the money for that. Tastes like cardboard. Processed foods in India now account for 1/3 of the total food industry. The All India Food Processors Association represents multinationals like Pepsi and Nestle. We asked its president why India's fast foods contain such high levels of fat, salt, and sugar compared to other parts of the world.
From where has this data come that it is 3 times in salt?
Well, actually, the nutritional information provided on the website.
From where? From which website?
Of Burger King itself.
We would not subscribe to these views without confirming. Why, I will tell you. There are so many planted stories, we know them. A food which is sold and consumed in a particular country, the manufacturer will put the salt in that according to what the population wants that salt level to be. If he serves them the bland food, they don't take it. So it's not his fault. It's not the regulator's fault.
It's the consumer's.
It is the consumer's requirement.
Consumers making their own decisions about what they eat sounds good. But these foods are designed to be addictive. The Indian diet is traditionally low in sugar, but a burger, fries, and Pepsi from Burger King has 3 times more sugar than the WHO's recommended daily intake. These sugars are so well hidden that even industry representatives don't seem to know about them.
Burgers don't have sugar.
There's some sugars in them, yes?
Listen, now I do not know
The
what
fries
is
have
your approach then. If you say burgers have sugar and therefore it is bad, I think it's a misnomer. Burgers are not a sugary product.
They're not supposed to be. But adding sugar to savory products is becoming the new normal. And excess sugar intake is one of the key triggers of food-related diseases like type 2 diabetes. India is now known as the diabetes capital of the world. It has 1/6 of the global population, but half of the planet's diabetes burden, a term used to indicate the combined physical and financial cost of the disease. We met with Dr. Meera Shiva, founder of the All India Drug Action Network, to ask about the links between big business and bad health.
Now you see all over, you see a lot of processed food by the big companies just flooding with trans fats. Too much sugar, too much salt, and in these non-biodegradable plastic packets. The ecological cost of it is not counted. The social cost of it is not counted. The public health cost of it is not counted. Most of the food processing industry are basically increasing ill health. And the relationship of non-communicable diseases with public health hazards has been pointed out by WHO and by everybody. Clear, very clear. So then you create a big market. So they are creating the market of ill health.
Our research found that diabetes in India has nearly tripled since its neoliberal transformation in the 1990s and will double again by 2045. At the same time, investment by foreign companies also boomed, from $25 million to $42 billion. A comparison of the graphs shows a correlation. And the WHO found that consumption of processed foods is associated with the global escalation of non-communicable diseases.
Especially where non-communicable diseases like diabetes and hypertension and all, their complications require hospitalization. And unlike in malaria and TB, you give treatment for some time. For non-communicable diseases, you have to give for the rest of your life. Like, antihypertensives, to take anti-diabetic drugs, you have to take, which are very, very costly. So in economic terms, you sell your buffalo, you sell your land, you pull out your fixed deposit, whatever it is, that it is hitting very badly.
For the 450 million Indians living in poverty, private healthcare isn't an option, and they have to rely on overcrowded public hospitals and clinics. But there is another way to get free healthcare in India. So he's checking for diabetes?
This is for diabetes. We are checking for diabetes, we are checking for uric acid.
Dr. Muzammil Khan holds these health camps twice a month. Patients are screened for lung disease, heart problems, diabetes, and other conditions.
So he's highly diabetic. He needs proper medicine, proper diet, proper counseling.
So what medicine would he be prescribed, or what's the next step?
The first thing I'll prescribe is strict diet control. And then I'll give him a medicine to start with, metformin with glimepiride. But he's from Cipla. He's doing a smoke check for the people.
Cipla is India's biggest pharmaceutical company. So I was surprised to see their sales reps carrying out health tests. And they weren't the only ones. What are all the companies, what representatives do you have here?
I have Cipla, I have Lupin, this is Torrent, this is Udic Pharmaceuticals, Franco is there, I told you. Then there's Pastoral Pharma. Overall about 23 companies.
23 pharmaceutical companies. I found it misleading that sales reps were wearing white coats normally reserved for doctors. One of them, from Franco, India, told us that they were also counseling patients and supplying drugs, which to me sounded a lot like diagnosis and prescription. For more clarity, we went to speak to Amitava Gua, who worked in the pharmaceutical industry for 40 years and now works at the center of Indian trade unions. We asked if the sales reps should be allowed to do this.
They should not. They should not. And this is highly illegal also. So you cannot go for any diagnosis or any clinical analysis. You are not trained for that. They should not go. If somebody has gone, it was pressurized by their employers. See, health camps are basically organized by the pharmaceutical companies. They will give free medicine. They will also pay for pathological testing of the patients. But then finally, it will give a result of prescribing their own drugs.
Vivek Gupta was a marketing manager for Abbott, a US pharmaceutical giant. He organized health camps to test for diabetes, but was fired after he raised concerns over the drugs they were selling. And were you carrying out these tests?
My representative was carrying out these tests, who was reporting to me.
And are they medically trained?
They are not trained to conduct these camps. It is the job of a doctor, somebody who is trained to do that job.
If there is a wrong diagnosis, it's dangerous for patient. So this wrong result will force these people to take medicine for which they are not supposed to take. And as you know, all medicine has got side effects.
But wrong diagnoses are not the only danger posed by the pharma companies. It's also the drugs themselves. Fixed-dose combination drugs, or FDCs, are created by combining 2 or more drugs into a single pill and giving it a new brand name. The possibilities of combinations are virtually endless, and more brands means more opportunities for profit. The Indian regulator says combinations don't have to be tested because they are made from already approved drugs. But India's 5 most popular FDCs for diabetes are illegal in the UK and Canada, and only 2 are allowed in the US.
This is my yoga master, yoga trainer, and this is me this last year. And this is all the awards I've got.
Abbott Industries have been called out for using ineffective drugs. How do you in this clinic make sure and guarantee that your drugs are effective? And how
that is because I'm the company, which Lupin is #1 company and Cipla. Brand is a brand. For example, Levi's. Now you can't expect Levi's to make you say second grade things, like in jeans. So this is a brand. They will not make anything wrong. It's a big name, it's a big name. And they won't pollute their name. They will not spoil their name. He is from Cipla. He is doing PFT.
So how many of the combination ones was
How many combinations? We have very few.
For which kind
for
of
diabetes?
For diabetes, there are 3, 4, 5, 10. 5 are widely used.
Only metformin with glimepiride is commonly this thing. Otherwise, or pioglitazone. Otherwise, they are not making any. Maximum 2 to 3. That is very few. Otherwise, usually metformin, glimepiride is the combination.
You said 5, no?
4, 5.
But sorry, I know you're saying 2 or 3, but I'm just wondering for that specific company, he was saying.
No, he's also he couldn't understand your question.
Dr. Khan and a pharmaceutical rep from Cipla I spoke to both said that they sell FDC drugs, fixed-dose combinations, although they seemed confused about exactly which ones and how many they were selling. It's quite controversial because hundreds of these FDCs have been banned by the Indian government in recent years. And I'm just on the websites of companies we saw at the health camp, like Lupin, Cipla, and Mankind, and they're all selling the same FDC diabetes drugs. This one example contains glimepiride, metformin, and pioglitazone, and that's just one banned combination that they continue to sell on their websites or through online pharmaceutical stores. So basically, potentially harmful drugs that are banned in the US and the EU are being sold by international pharma companies to patients here in India. But how dangerous are these drugs? We asked Dr. Meera Shiva.
2 concerns, efficacy and the lack of safety. And some of the drugs of these fixed dose combinations, if you are malnourished and you already have hepatitis and things like that, and then you are giving drugs which are hepatotoxic, toxic to the kidney or toxic to the liver, that person is going to have complication 10 times more.
Back at the camp, it didn't seem as though the sales reps were advising on side effects. nor diet and exercise. It was mostly about the brands.
This is the brand which is the original brand made Pharma.
Yes.
It has been launched in 1963 in India. And after detecting the diabetes, detecting the high blood sugar, the medicines for the needy patients, poor patients, providing free of cost.
So they give it for free, you give it out for free, and they don't pay anything.
Social corporate responsibility is a word used in the big companies. They have some responsibility towards the social cause.
I heard of this, that companies show these expenses in their books as a corporate social responsibility. But ultimately the whole objective is not about corporate social responsibility, it is about how you are building on those brands. Because when you do these camps, after that when you go for a review of these camps, they will always correlate with the sales.
So this marketing technique give rise to unethical business practices. For promotion, they will do any damn thing. And many of them are combinations, because combinations are promoted under high marketing pressure.
Pressure is immense on the people who are working in sales in pharma industry right now. They are more into getting more and more profits. Even Abbott itself, there is one guy who committed suicide. He was from my division only. I had brought in the knowledge of the higher management. This is the way things are not happening right in our division. I think if company has listened to me, and this guy should not have lost his life. Because things go to that level, they keep on putting pressure on the people that he had to, at some point of time, he had to commit suicide.
Abbott India says their working conditions are devoid of undue pressure, and they deny that employees were running diagnostic tests or that camps were being used to increase sales. Our investigation tells a different story. Pharmaceutical giants marketing untested drugs, doctors allowing them to sell directly to patients, and sales reps killing themselves from the pressure. It wasn't clear how much of this was happening at Dr. Khan's camp. What was clear was the competition. 23 companies doing tests, many selling exactly the same drugs.
Why there is marketing and promotion required for pharmaceuticals? It is not required for essential commodities. For example, for bread, for example, for rice and other things, it is not required. But marketing is required for generating artificial demand. The market economy based system, marketing is must for almost everything, and medicine more so.
There was a time when pharma industry was there to relieve sufferings of the people. But now the whole motive of pharma industry is to derive maximum profit from people's sufferings.
The world's first multinational corporations were the British and Dutch East India companies. They are responsible for 300 years of ravaging India's resources and exploiting its people. Today, the descendants of the East India companies, like McDonald's, Nestle, and Abbott, continue to exploit India by degrading its food culture, marketing unhealthy products, and making guinea pigs of India's sick. But while the government is rolling out the red carpet, there are people who are speaking out.
What is knowledge? Knowledge has come down over more than a millennia. It's come down, it's got translated, and people have chosen to eat that which has kept them healthy. Our ancient food culture and the livelihoods of so many of people is going to be threatened with this.
देखिए बाहर के जो हमारे इंडिया में जो बिक रहा है, जो आ रहा है, उसको हमारे बच्चे भी यूज कर रहे हैं, बच्चे खा रहे हैं, बहुत से वो हो रहे हैं. तो बच्चों को इतना वो नहीं है इसमें कौन सा हमारा नुकसान है, कौन सा फ़ायदा है. अपनी भारत की चीज़ को इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए, विदेश की चीज़ को इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए, हमें किस चीज़ में फ़ायदा है.
The food giants should take not little but quite a lot of responsibility for the ill health, increasing ill health. And just for some people to make profit that other people should fall ill, that's really not acceptable at all.